So, welcome, Daniel, to
Okay.
this conversation about co-creating the third attractor. And as always, my first question is, do you know the term the third attractor? And if yes, can you give us and the audience your understanding of what we mean when we talk about the third attractor or co-creating the third attractor?
Well, thank you for this invitation and the opportunity to have this exchange. I appreciate that a lot, and I'm very much looking forward for this exchange. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you.
Thank you.
The third attractor, to me, it seems to be something which is well understood to be taken into dialectics, forms how we convince ourselves and the other, so to say, from our point of view. So chaos is a form of understanding the world, and control and power is a form of us understanding the world. And the third attractors reminds me very much, and please tell me if you see differently, of what in the old traditions enlightenment means, that we
Mm,
take the whole of information. And if I get it right, or if I take it right, if we take the embodiment of information to come to a holistic view of the world, and from that point, from this space in ourselves, we come into action. So this is my understanding of the third attractor. If I look, if I look into it and I try to make up my mind, what are you talking about? And what I see a little bit critical to take it so much as a dialectic form is that we experience in dialectics exhaustion. We
mhm.
experience an overwhelming amount of information, arguments, points of views, and we don't get ahead. We count countless problems of we can find countless problems of numbers of problems and describe them and say, well, this doesn't work and this doesn't work and this is a nice try. And I think this is a dilemma with dialectics. And this is why I believe that we have to take this opportunity to find this space and this ground of truth in ourselves to come to appropriate actions.
This is beautiful, Daniel, and it's literally the first time that somebody so explicitly equaled the third attractor with enlightenment, and I personally couldn't agree more.
Mhm.
At least it all starts there, where we remember the oneness that we are, you know. And in the
Well,
lineage I come from, in Andrew Cohen's lineage,
mhm,
we
mhm,
distinguish between being enlightenment that you
mhm.
experience in meditation and awakening to becoming or becoming enlightenment, enlightenment in action, one could say, yeah, or spirit in action. And both of them seem very important for the third attractor to change our inner being so that we can act in the world in a different way.
And there are
And
so many,
yeah,
sorry, and
go
there
ahead. No,
are,
no.
and there are so many misunderstandings. There are so many words which are not, so to say, really clear. Let's take this term enlightenment. Will it ever
Mhm.
stop? Will there ever be a status of enlightenment where we say, "Oh, we are enlightened"? No,
No,
it's
no,
a
exactly.
evolution. It's an evolutionary process.
Yeah.
So, where is this evolution happen and in what context? What is the body which is in evolution? What is this evolution? What is this being in evolution? And to
Hmm.
me, it's clearly life. It's not.
Hmm.
It's not an anthropo. How do you call it?
And
Anthropological.
anthroposophize. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's not the human evolution. It's the
Yeah.
evolution of
No.
life. It's
Yeah.
the evolution of life.
And
And there,
our remembering that we are part of life, no? Like we
absolutely.
also have to remember that we are not outside of this process. We are not something that is looking at that life process. We are part and parcel of it and co-responsible for it.
Co-responsible for it. Even this is, I feel, is too much, because in my work, I give lectures about the evolution of life, this highly intelligent code, which was 3.4 billion years ago created, and which took a process of evolution. I take it like an operating system, and then
Hmm.
you find fins and you find, adaptions like apps, and then the program gets always more and more complex, it developing itself into complexity. But as a matter of fact, life is one program. Life is one information. Information means something is in formation. It's gaining form. It's
Hmm.
in formation. So life is in formation. This is what means evolution. So enlightenment is never a state. Enlightenment is part of the process of information of life. Yeah. So, and I
Hmm.
teach, as a matter of fact, basically the outcomes of my research is there is only one life.
Hmm. Mine
And
too.
we are 3.4 billion years old.
Yeah.
And you and I, we are just one cell, as in our body, one cell. We are one cell, one being in this whole life, this totality of life.
Hmm.
So the question of oneness is answered.
Yes. And
And
that's where I see, just to come back on,
mhm,
I want to know why you say it's too far when I say we are also co-responsible, because if there is only one, then we are that one. And the more conscious we become of being this oneness moving forward, being obviously parts of this oneness, but still the oneness is real. That also gives us a responsibility for the moving forward, in the sense that the process is becoming conscious of itself, and that has implications.
I would love to see that this gives us home, trust,
Hmm.
family, security, future, devotion,
Yeah.
respect, happiness, food, totality. And then we can become aware that in terms of responsibility, as the whole world is responding, it is in formation, that we play a very special role with our mind, with our capability to look beyond the horizon, to look into the universe, to make research, to drive science, to understand life. So I would love rather to say we gain responsibility, that we find home, and that we find
Hmm.
peace in this world, and that we find friends in bacteria, viruses, mice, spiders, snakes, crocodiles, tigers, birds, everything. This is
Yeah.
our home. So
Yeah.
before I say we are responsible, I say welcome home.
Hmm.
And then see how life at all is responding. This planet is a spaceship which was created 2 billion years ago by bacteria. Oxygen, biosphere. So life is responding.
Hmm.
It is not that we are responsible. This is we put us in a too high role, and some people they get really stressed, And I mean, this is all this ego. I believe, I laugh, and Daniela, I follow you perfectly, because I see our responsibility, I see our capacity, our potential. This is what I'm really trying to address primarily in my work. But at the same time, I try to take it a little bit back in the first step, and I say, first, arrive in your home.
Yeah, but I think we mean the
Mhm.
same, Daniel.
Mhm.
I think we have to go very slow here to
Mhm.
understand each other's points, because I'm not talking about we as the mind are responsible. I'm not talking about the small human beings are
Mhm.
responsible. I'm talking about an
Mhm.
awakening to being the life process. Or as you say, I agree with you. Let's be home first as this life
Mhm.
process and realize we are this
Mhm.
life process. No, it's not the human being, it's the life process itself that awakens to this realization of being the life process, and that has implications to how we act. But from that homeness, as you call it, from being
Mhm.
home,
Mhm.
realizing, oh
Mhm.
wow, that's so big, and we are the human being are very small. And then I do see a responsibility there, but not a mindy one, not
Mhm.
responsibility to make science, to make
Mhm.
products, to make anything, but the
Mhm.
responsibility to be aware of this co-creation that we are part of.
Well, if you take responsibility, thank you, Daniela, for this clearing. Thank you very much. Because I just with responsibility, I felt so much people, in this kind of stress of
Yes,
responding, correctly,
yes.
and I have to be right or wrong, and is this right or is this wrong, and shame, they say, oh, I've failed so hard, how can I ever look again in the mirror or whatever,
Hmm.
meet this friend or so, so
Hmm.
so this is why I'm a little very I had big discussions, all my life here about responsibility, and if we take this that humans have a specific capability of connecting with a maybe universe creating absolute, a
Hmm.
higher intelligence, which we call
Hmm.
consciousness or God or soul, which is more individual in
Hmm.
ourselves, then I see absolutely the point. But what I recommend is first what you said, just sit down,
Yeah,
don't act. Open your
yeah.
eyes, look into this life, and come home. This
Hmm.
is your home. This is our world, and we have created it. The life has created life and space. This
Yeah.
is our evolution. This is information. A spaceship was formed.
Hmm.
Life is information. And we are a very specific species, and it's tremendous. Yeah, if we look into the capacity of our neural system, we really wonder what we are up for.
Yeah, that's true.
Nature created such something so beautiful. I mean, we listen to Beethoven and Mozart and Jimi Hendrix and so on. We say, wow, wow, yeah, yeah. We appreciate, we feel, we experience, the beauty we are. We look
Yeah.
to people, I mean, just artists or sports or so. I mean, there's so much beauty in life, yeah,
Hmm.
of humans, yeah, and
Yeah.
flowers and everything, so the
Yeah.
potential we are is tremendous, but we have to come home.
Yeah.
We have to find peace.
You are in Auroville right now, yeah?
Visiting,
Is,
yes.
yes, is Auroville a place where you find this, what you are describing in many people? Is the vision that Aurobindo and the mother had for a community that would be based on what you are describing? Can you feel it there? Can you talk a little bit about your experience in Auroville?
This is a very difficult question. By definition, we do not talk about people who are not present. So we don't talk about third parties which are not present. But I can speak about the beauty of the work of Sri Aurobindo, very active animals here. Can you hear them? There are,
No,
oh,
no,
okay,
I
let's,
cannot hear the
oh,
animals.
there
I can
is,
see that. I can see the people walking by, but I cannot hear anything.
It's really noisy outside. It's
Mhm.
we have some goose, and visitors are leaving, the goose, wait, 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 wait. I'm very excited. Really
Yeah.
beautiful, very traditional, yeah. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I can say I came to India August last year. On the third day I went into a reading of Savitri, and I started crying because it was so beautiful what Sri Aurobindo is writing. It is so true. It is so deeply wise. It's so deeply present. And he does not just talk, and this is what I regard the most, about the evolution of consciousness. No, he talks
Hmm.
about the failures. He talks about the
Hmm.
tricks. He talks about, the disaster we are, and so all that pain, all these misunderstandings, and I was so touched. And I can say I find in Auroville beautiful people who came here a week ago or 50 years ago. And
Hmm.
they put all their dreams, all their hopes, all their wishes, all their energy and life and whatever it takes, into this fantasy. And you can find here in Auroville very precious, beautiful things. On the other side, I mean, I was 25 years in innovation management. I'm an inventor. For 25 years, I had 3 own companies, startups, so I was always in innovation. And innovation means this is the most fragile, the most vulnerable organ we can find in this world because it can be anytime encounter ignorance. I don't
Hmm.
care. Oh,
Hmm.
that's over. Innovation is dead. If you have
Hmm.
a knife, in your hand, you say, "Oh, look how I can make my butter bread. I can slice bread, and I can, cut a piece of whatever." And someone says, "I don't care." Okay,
Hmm.
you throw the knife away, and it's gone. It has no
Hmm.
importance. So ignorance is one of the severest thresholds for an innovation. I mean,
Yeah.
ignorance. Where don't you find and how much do we love ignorance? So I don't care. It doesn't matter. No. So I must say, innovations to manage, innovations to drive through this process of evolution is a highly demanding task. And I never, I can say, experienced a real talented technical innovation being driven not by egoism, not by advantage, not by monopolism, not by taking really abusive.
Hmm.
The problem of social innovation, like Auroville, like a spiritual path, is it's hard to make a social innovation abusive if it's not a dictatorship. I think you have some experience with that. So it's a real challenge to make spiritual, enable the inner evolution of people and of yourself, avoiding abuse, avoiding misunderstandings, avoiding that the shadows take over and all of a sudden you misuse your power. And this
Hmm.
happened to Auroville as well. And it's basically a very beautiful example how much money, how much effort, how much intelligence can be turned out to be a failure.
Hmm.
And I do not
So,
criticize and I do not complain. And I really want to remember, of these beautiful people I was mentioning before.
yeah, yeah.
But how do we manage, democracy? What did we learn after the Second World War? How proud was Germany, to come out of the misery, and where are we today? Look at Europe; it's a mismanagement. Look at the United States; it's partly mismanagement. Look at a lot of societies which are just mismanaged. And why do I put that in the context of innovation? Because we are information. We are in a permanent process of innovation. So we have to become aware what it takes to manage, to create transformation, and to
Yeah.
not repeat the past and not let the shadows take over, but to really evolve. And this is very hard to find places, very hard to find
Yeah.
people, very hard.
And I agree with you. It's very hard, and it feels like it's very important that we have these communities that try anyway, that try and fail again, and try and improve
Daniela,
again. No.
Daniela, it's not every friendship, it's not every partnership, it's not every, let's call it rise in love, the start of it's not every pregnancy, it's not every building a house. Is that not all a manifestation of community, of information? We don't need communities. We need friends. We need people. We need process.
Where do you make the distinction between community and friends?
Well, I don't make a distinction. I just say
Yes,
it
you
all
just said we don't
starts.
need community, we need
Well,
friends.
community. Well, yeah, community is like the miracle. There it's going to happen because a tribe was once. I say, be your best friend. Start there. Make community with yourself. Start there. Be in communion with yourself and with whatever is in yourself and whatever you find there, whatever kind of space and intelligence you find there, whatever kind of peace you find there. And if you have found that, then go out and find friends. And then maybe make a group and then maybe make a community. So I don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, we basically agree that it all starts inside. But culture, oh, I'm losing you.
Don't miss any community. Mm-hmm.
Daniel, I just lost you for a minute.
I know. I recognized, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, no, what I said, I agree that it all starts
Mm.
inside of us. Are
Yeah.
you familiar with integral theory? Ken Wilber, integral theory?
I was invited by the integrals in Germany several times. I gave lectures to the integrals about
Mm,
theory U presenting Karl Otto Schama
yes,
and
yes.
in Essen. And so far, I'm not really perfectly familiar. And I would say, community, this is so beautiful in German. I did some organizational development for communities, and I was sitting there, really wondering, why does it not work? And in German, it's Gemeinschaft. And once I made a joke and I said, I know now why it doesn't work. And everybody said, why? And I said, because it starts with gemein, with mean. So and I really, really, Daniela, I mean, there are lots of theories about systems dynamics and so on. I mean, as a physicist, a developer of complex systems and a facilitator, of system change, I'm very familiar with any kind of theory, but I can tell you one thing. If we do not become friends with ourselves, what can we give in a friendship? What can we give in relation? What can we give to a community? And whatever theory, like morphogenetic fields and collective intelligence, this is also beautiful. In innovative processes, I learned that to appreciate or not. But what is the noise which disturbs a lot of positive development? It's the lack of friendship to yourself. It's the lack of the love to yourself, which is not given. If you can love yourself, then you can love everything and everybody. And so communities for me are places of big misunderstanding. And this is so nice in the German term, Gemeinschaft. It starts with me.
Yeah, but I have a slightly different position to this question in the sense that I agree it starts with us. You say we want to love ourselves. I would probably say we want to find the who we really are. We want to find the oneness in ourselves and align with that oneness. But then what I find interesting and what I find compelled by is then to come together in that oneness not in meanness, but in that
Mm-hmm.
oneness.
Oneness, yeah.
And that for me is community building. If people who have gone beyond ego, beyond small self, beyond the mind, and then come together in that same oneness, that oneness that Aurobindo also pointed to, the supermind, overmind, however he called it, and come together in that uh, recognition of who we really are, then I feel like community becomes very interesting, because then we can create different culture that is not based on meanness or on rivalry, but is based on our shared ground. No.
Daniela, I follow since 20 years the path of Zen. I'm
Hmm.
initiated by the vows of a bodhisattva. Buddha, Dharma, Sangha
Yeah.
means a lot to me. But what I tried to express before is I'm not surprised about the failure of communities, because they did not take the path of Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. They believe in community. They believe in coherence. They believe in mystics, dance, symbols, just touching, give me a hug. Everything is going to be all right. It is beautiful. I love to be hugged. I love to be held. I love to be taken. I love to be welcome. But first, I have to find myself. And then I have the capacity to run a Sangha. And so Sangha is the most holiest thing I dream, I love, I wish for, I live. So this is community. This is what you're saying. But I'm trying to say before that we very often address Auroville is a beautiful vision. And if you look at it, I mean, we can go into detail. I have a lot of discussions here. People here, they are blaming, the secretary and the government and Modi and whoever, just, history is unfair, mankind is bad. And so I looked at it very open and very, very, yeah, may I take the term conscious? And I mean, there are lots of informations and lots of things which happen. We are really, really sad, and they are disastrous. I mean, this was a desert, and I mean, it's green, it's beautiful trees, it's a beautiful space to live. And now people come, and build streets and cut down trees. So, I mean, there is reason to mourn. At the same time, I can give you 1,000 examples for where this innovation was not communicated, it was not lived, it was not managed, it was not manifested as it would be necessary. Once again, I do not complain to anybody. I do not criticize anybody. I think we have to become aware and to go more into this discussion we just had. How much expectation can be addressed towards a community, and what does it really, really take? And then I go back and I say Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And then
Yeah, there I
community
totally
loves.
agree with you. But it's the three that we need together. I don't believe we can first just look at ourselves. We need either the guru
Mhm.
and or the sangha, better both, to be able to go through this growth process that you're describing. Because when we are just on our own, we are so good in not being honest with ourselves, how deep we are grounded in oneness or in awakening or in enlightenment. So we need the sangha or a certain kind of community to bounce against each other, to find out where we are, how conscious are we actually. No, when you are on your own, it's easy to feel very conscious. When you are with other people, it's much more difficult to stay fully awake.
I couldn't agree more what you say. What I learned, in Zen, we don't. I mean, in Zen, we kill the Buddha if we meet him. This is the third page of Mumonkan. If you meet the Buddha, kill him. That does not mean that I'm going to kill someone else. I kill the illusion in myself that anybody knows it better than me. That I'm responsible, that someone is responsible for me. I draw the attention to myself and I address my awareness towards me. What are you doing? Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
I. So what it takes is not a guru, in my conviction. What it takes is not a sangha. It takes a trust that there is an opportunity in self-reflection to improve. And it takes an exercise. That can be a praying, that can be a body exercise, that can be just walking, that can be being in love with a dog, whatever. It doesn't take a specific thing, but it takes a trust of self-reflection will improve me. And it's always in relation. Always, we are always in relation. We are even with a salad leaf in relation. Yeah, we are with a beetle in relation. We are with everything in relation. So you are absolutely right, Daniela, that evolution happens in relation. It's oneness with life and with people, of course. So it does not work alone. I mean, the old sage, they went into the Himalayas and they sat, 20 years or so in a cave just to make their personal enlightenment. And then, so in a highly form of isolation. And then they go out and they experience certainly some surprise. What's really happening out there? On the other side, this is the experience of enlightenment, if we call it like that, they gained a high competence because they learned to be self-reflective.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is we need that trust that we have, what we spoke before, this interface to the soul. We have the soul in ourselves. And it is, as you said so beautifully in the interview with Jeffrey, it says yes.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
Daniela?
Yes. I think your internet is a little bit shaky.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we need this big yes.
You,
exactly.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
You don't move. Your picture is frozen now. I see you moving again.
Yeah, now it's better again here.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we need the big yes. I think that's.
Well, I mean, this if we recognize that we are a manifestation of consciousness and that matter was created out of consciousness and that we are in this play of life and that evolution put us in the position of a human being, which is so rich. We are so rich in capabilities as humans. A mouse cannot create a screwdriver. It will never do that. We create things like a screwdriver. And this is beautiful because we can fix something, just fix it, just go ahead. So this is beautiful and a lot of other things. So, I mean, if we become aware who we are, that we have a very specific capability. I say, if life is a body of a human, maybe we are the right eye. So, I mean, live without a right eye or live without eyes. Just take a sense away. So evolution life created us after the dinosaur mastered the world for 160 million years, and they could not. Two could not. They did, and they could. So after 4 weeks without safe place and without food, 160 million years of dinosauria, big animals, perfect machines for this world, disappeared. And what does life do? Does it create a super dinosaur? No. It creates a little thing like the human being, a mammal, dependent in birth, dependent in age, highly dependent, socially dependent, highly intelligent, with an extremely complex nervous system. Unbelievable. The potential of our neural physicality is enormous.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you.
So, are you with me?
Uh, yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to go a little bit
Yeah.
into looking into the future, because I understand. I think you made your point very well, that it all starts with us recognizing who we are, and have this deep trust in who we are, and see us as part of life. But how does it then move forward? What is your vision of a future? What what can and unfold if more and more people do exactly what you describe and actually find themselves? Let's assume we found ourselves in the way you are describing. What is then needed for culture to move in a hopefully better direction?
Now I know why you insist with the question of community, because, of course, um, we have to multiply. I mean, since thousands of years,
Mhm.
we find human beings or animals or some kind of beautiful things where we look and say, wow, how beautiful, how perfect, how balanced, how wise, beautiful. So we have individuals, we find individual beings. But where is this multiplication? Where does it happen?
Mhm.
Because we need a society, we need the whole
Exactly,
in
exactly.
coherence. So I just spent a while in an ashram, and I said to the Swami once, I said, you know, if the world has to become an ashram, glowing, singing, vibrating, celebrating space of life,
Mhm.
then the ashram has to become life.
Mhm.
If life has to become an ashram, if this planet's life has to become an ashram has to become life. So a Sangha, to come back to this terminology, has to be created. And this Sangha has to be, you know, like a spreading space, spreading area of teaching, of experiencing, of learning, of expansion, of multiplication. I mean, and I think today with social media, with the newer technologies, we have a significant chance to make their steps if we really treat that well. First, that we do not make pictures for social media, but we create a space where we can start to manifest this quality of life. And if we have created this space and we share this with people, then we can invite people to participate. And it's
Mhm.
not going to be like here in Auroville, you know, just make karma yoga, come clean my bushes, you know, cut my trees, plant my whatever, you know, do this, karma yoga, you know, the rest will come. No. If we take higher education, I had this beautiful interview with Jeffrey. If we take this higher education serious, and we do not force people to read 24,000 lines of mantric poetry. And if someone says, ooh, that's hard, we say, well, you are not prepared. You know, you don't make it. You will never understand. You know, you have to take savagery. Other than that, you are just rubbish. You know, you are garbage. You are not the one who is being the supermental, you know, ooh, voodoo. No, we have to find effective ways to introduce this new understanding of ourself, of life in the universe, of the universe as such, of our interface to consciousness, of the importance of culture, and of a consciousness, of a culture of consciousness, where we
Mhm.
take care for each other, where we learn to love ourselves, where we learn to be in love with our beloved, where we learn to be in love with our partners, with our neighbors, and invite people and create process work, sound, yoga, meditation, dance, beautiful. Where do we go to, Daniela? Where do we meet? Let's meet. Come on, let's do it.
Here at Manifest Nirvana, you know that our place is called Manifest Nirvana. That's exactly what you're describing.
Well, you remember that I said I jump on my motorbike, and come to Tiruvannamalai. This is the
Yes.
reason why I go to people, why I go to places, because I'm radical. I'm very radical. I want to
Hmm.
do it. I not just want to be it. I
Hmm.
want to see that it happens. And I have now, of course, you know what an expert is? You know what makes an expert? He has gone through all failures.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah.
makes you an expert. So I
True.
mean, I have a beautiful family, and still, 5 years ago, my wife threw me out because she said, I can't stand your loving attitude. You have to start fighting. You have to protect. You have to fight. You have to do this and do this. Your corona. And I said, no, I don't have to get this and the vaccination or whatever. I don't have to be afraid. This is all nothing. This is just a social disaster, nothing else, and a political and industrial, abuse. So, so she was really frustrated of me, and I respect that, But she threw me out. So my
Hmm.
marriage of 20 years turned out to be kind of a failure. Yeah, and
Hmm.
other things happened to me in my life. So I have made a lot of falls, and I'm becoming aware how precious this is and how fragile. And I mean, looking into the spiritual ways, Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, Upanishaden, in Zen we work with text which is 1,500 years old. You see, it is around since a while, but it doesn't
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah, yeah.
so,
At least
so
not consistently. It happens in pockets again and
yeah,
again, but
yeah.
there is not enough coherence and consistency for it to be a cultural real emergence, no?
And very often, if you put two gurus together, I was invited, by a foundation in Germany, big one, to give a speech, a keynote speech on contemporary spirituality. And before I talked, two beautiful, very experienced people were on the stage, and they had an argument. And I said,
Hmm.
bravo, this is so beautiful, How inclusive are we if we still waste our time with
Yeah.
arguments? I mean, if you understand community differently, and we have to make this kind of circumvent with Sangha, and then we come together and we look at it, this is to me not an argument. This is a clarification. This is beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Daniela. And this, but if you stick, to our opinions, say, oh no, 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 you don't get that. This is wrong. They have to learn something there. So then, and it was a symposium about contemporary spirituality. I mean, it was the
Yeah.
best what we can bring together,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
stay there and say, I'm a Dharma, I'm a Zen master, I'm whatever, but they are not able to include. And what
Hmm.
I'm saying, and you had that discussion with Jeffrey, and that was very beautiful. I just have a different wording. The inclusion of diversity enables life to match with a given complexity.
Hmm.
This universe, this life, this planet is highly complex. The universe is absolutely not friendly. It's a cold place. It's empty. It's cold. So the challenge is there. We just have the comfort to live in this, I call it utopia. Daniela,
Hmm.
your life, this planet is a radical utopia in the universe right
Yes.
now.
Yeah. True.
So we are a wonder. You are a pure wonder. The likelihood that we look into each other's eyes now by information technology. So this is where I'm saying, come home, come
Yeah, yeah.
home, make your peace. And to come back to your question, how do we create future? I mean, this is one of the things I'm working on. I offer now an education program of 12 days. I try to make it very dense and intense. This is what my capacity is, but I dream of a space, where we can exactly create a living area, a living space where people live together and multiply. And I see a lot of beautiful places in the world. I don't say this is just the only place where it's going to happen. I can only say what my contribution is and what my work is and what my dream is. And I think we need this kind, what Carlo Sharma calls it, acupunctural places for this earth.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Very beautiful. And
Yeah.
and I mean, how it is, to be in a community. You experienced that with Andrew Cohen, how fragile something is. Also, there was so much money, there was so much capacity, there was so much intelligence, there was so much all of it. So I just can say I'm if you know a place, just let me know. I come along immediately. Tomorrow I'm there.
I don't. But I do know that there are a lot of people working on this question. And my goal
Beautiful.
with all these conversations is
Yeah.
to find these people. And if it's
Yeah.
only that they come together in through these conversations, and we what I feel, it's now, this is the 24th conversation that I'm having. And what I feel in myself is that I'm much more aware how many different viewpoints, valid viewpoints, speaking of your diversity, like how many different valid viewpoints have to be and can be considered in this whole question about how to move into the future. How many beautiful people are out there trying their best to change something and to bring change, bring about change. How many people are out there that struggle because of what you are describing. It's actually, it's also challenging to bring people together under kind of the same roof, without making it the same, without making it a cult, and at the same time allow diversity, but at the same time also create coherence towards something better. Yeah, it's such a big topic, but I'm very encouraged by seeing so many people putting conscious thought into the question, how could this look like? And the people that I had conversations with, they all have a slightly different angle of what should be the priority, what is the most important, what is the least important, how can we come together, what can we do ourselves. And it's just beautiful to see. And I'm hopeful. And one topic that is coming out in almost every conversation is that it would be good if we connect more between different communities, networks that think about these things, that we find the connection points, that we find the similarities and not the differences, and then can build on that and learn from each other and grow as an organism that we are, as this one organism that we are.
Two or three things I can say about that. I mean, Daniela, whoever I meet in my life, whoever I talk to, we all are full of dreams. We all are full of the knowledge we can do better. We are full of regret. I didn't do well. I should have said. I should not have, waited for something. I should have said. So we are full of this capacity of beauty. We are. We are
Mhm.
full of that. But we just very often do not find the way to
Mhm.
get there because life, karma, comes into our way. That's one thing. So I can say nobody is excluded. Everybody is here. And everybody who is alive is part of that process. And there is diversity, thanks God. This is the complexity we need. But we have to find a solution for this power play. We have to replace might, or to equal might, with compassion and wisdom. If we have a lack of wisdom, if we have a lack of compassion, we will not use might in an appropriate way. You experience that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to find ways to help each other to come to these qualities. In my experience, nobody is perfect. Marshall Rosenberg says, it's not about perfection. It's about getting progressively less stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't expect from the other. Take yourself and help the other, and find compassion for yourself and for the other. And do not judge. Listen, share, participate. So this is so important. Yeah. And I can say that everybody, every human being, every being, my dog, my cat, my chicken, whatever, they all come along, and they're asking for something of kindness, peace, and they have a vision of a nest. They have a vision of an egg. They have a vision, of getting babies. They have a vision of getting the biggest sausage. My dog. They always know. I can be better. Life can be great. So they are very intelligent. They are very much less complex as we are. But we have dreams, and we have to start to trust in our dreams. We have to start to trust in our far-fetched desires and wishes. And we have to find forms to express it, and then to wait till it comes to us. Yeah. So, and social media.
Can I respond to something that you said where I?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I go too much in depth. I know. This is a bad habit. But
No.
I wanted to make 3 points, and it is unavoidable to do that in a community. It's unavoidable to do that, to manifest that in a broader sense. And just to take that point, what you said before, social media, the technical capacities we have today, if it's not abused, which it is, if it is not abused, it's an evolutionary accelerator of coherence, of understanding, of learning, of evolution. Information. We are information. So what do we need? The exchange of information. This makes it better to come in form.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are.
What's your take on AI then? Speaking of technology, I just want to go that you spoke about social media as a potential carrier of information. What about AI? What is your
Robert Oppenheimer is the answer to AI. Einstein is the answer to AI.
Yeah.
As a brain, as a thinker, as consciousness, and I can create everything. Yeah. I can create everything. I can build a nuclear power plant which does not have waste. Oh, energy unlimited. Great. Why not using the sun? Well, because I'm better in nuclear technology. Okay, well, let's do that. Without waste, we can do it. Well, how much does it cost? How do we get rid of after 10,000 years? Difficult. Okay, but now we have energy. I can as well build a neutron bomb to destroy Japan with 5 grams of material. This is AI.
Mm-hmm.
AI has no compassion. It has intelligence. It has no compassion. And life and this universe is intelligence and looking for compassion. This is why matter, this is why life exists. Consciousness, which created matter, has a lack of compassion. That's why it created the suffering. That's why it created matter and life. So AI is a beautiful tool. I mean, I love AI. Just if you give straight, clear questions to AI, you get beautiful answers. I mean, I grew up, with 9-floor libraries, big like a football field, one floor. So I know what information is, and looking for information. You can spend days and weeks, you don't find it. And AI is, if the algorithms are really intelligent and not manipulative, like Google algorithms are, so as long as AI is really an intelligent tool and not trendy waiting tool, which is very, very dangerous intelligence, because intelligence can trick you very easy to make not a nuclear power plant, but to make a bomb. Very easy.
Yeah.
It's only a very little difference. At one point, you make a little turn and you end up, and have a bomb. So, oh, Japan is gone, or Germany is gone, or Venezuela is gone, or Iran is gone. So, oh, sorry. Yeah. So AI has no compassion. It's not an alternative to us, but then we have to become wise. If we are stupid, taking advantage, tricking the other, AI is a big success. We can build weapons. They are so intelligent. Oh, how beautiful is that? Not talking about a Hoover, not talking about a maid which takes my shopping.
Yeah.
So I mean, AI is something highly desirable, but as much abusive. And this is why I stepped out of technical innovation and stepped into social innovation, because we will not improve quality of life if we do not create a social innovation. Technically, since 25 years, I know we can do everything. I look at Elon Musk, I mean, it's fantastic. What a brain. What a brilliant personality. And at the same time, I'm sure he suffers badly. Why? Because he doesn't feel any more limit. And what does limit you? What does give your life sense? Love, compassion. This is the regulating factor of craziness. And intelligence, as such, is not emotional, has no ethics. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Robert Oppenheimer, and this was his conflict. He was saying, I can't create now here nuclear physics. What's going to happen? So AI is an intelligent creation, which might turn out to be a very stupid maneuver. And I love to use it. I can. But who else? And what for is it used?
Yeah, exactly. And where does it go? Because the development is not yet ended.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
no. I mean, the evolution is clear. Where does it go? It is sheer intelligence without compassion. Where does sheer intelligence goes? It creates matter, because consciousness, what creates matter, the universe, has a tremendous intelligence. Consciousness is an absolute ability to imagine everything, to simulate everything, to have it in front of their eyes. But before matter, there was no thing, nothing. There was emptiness. Consciousness is emptiness. So it is empty of any kind of ethics. It's empty of any kind of experience. It's empty of any kind of pain. It's empty of any kind of value. It has no meaning. It's just a potential. This is why matter was created.
And we are creating the meaning, no? And we have created very different meanings over time.
Well, the chance of experience is to make the experience and to say, oh, this is a shitty idea. I will never do it again, World War II. And I just improve my relationship, and I go over there and make friends with France, and my father was French, I lived up with this German-French relationship. He was a translator, in village meetings and so, and then were French people coming and wondering about their grandfathers and fathers who brought death to each other, and then they were sitting there and drinking wine, and enjoying life, and say, "Ooh, it's beautiful, yeah, let's dance," French and German, yeah. And so did we really learn? So the meaning of matter, the meaning of life is to make experience, not to think, not to judge, and to develop a Sangha, relationship, Gemeinschaft, so community, as you said, to develop a form of coexistence. Because life is cooperation. Life is the inclusion of diversity to match the given complexity.
Yeah, that I totally agree. I'm not sure I agree with what you said several times, that we are not meant to judge, because if we have a moral standing somewhere, and you have one, I can hear it, because you judge AI for not being compassionate, or too intelligent people for not being compassionate, which I love. I think we should do that, because judgment also shows something about that actually not everything is the same, but we can discern between better action and worse action for the sake of the whole. And that is what we gain by becoming more conscious. That's my sense. We become more conscious to be able to better discern what is right action. And I'm not saying that we can do this perfectly. It's a very hard thing to do, and it's not always simple to see it. But
Mhm.
I'd rather live in a world where we want to discern good from bad action, and also want to be mirrors for each other. You said, 10 minutes ago, you said we shouldn't judge each other. And
Mhm.
there is a way of judging each other that is actually helping each other to grow. Because if nobody tells you where you might be wrong in your own seeing of the world, how should you grow? You cannot just grow from your own insights. We need each other for growth. That's my
It's just,
point of
it's
view.
just a, absolutely, it's just a matter of semantics. I give you an alternative. What is better for a kid if it comes home and has left his jacket in the bus? That I say, this is not right. You have to be attentive and don't fool around. This would be judgment, in my understanding, that you really try to bring the other into the awareness. Oh yeah, I was playing, I was laughing, and then I put just it was not even regarding, my son. It happened to me, I know what I'm talking about, yeah. And he just left his jacket or his boots or whatever, again and again and again. Is it a better way to offer my 12-year-old son this kind of reflection, or to say to him, my love, I'm here for you. Oh, that happened to you. How bad must that be now to recognize that your jacket isn't with you anymore? What you going to dress tomorrow in the morning if it's dark and cold? So come on, let's pick up a phone, get that jacket, and become attentive. Just protect yourself. Take care that your interest is full. Just let
Yeah,
me finish
but
that.
you are.
But this is not. The point is that we, with judgment, in my understanding, we separate from the other. And this is a profound abuse of relation. Because I'm in love with my kid. I'm in love with you. I am love. I have no reason to judge you. I have any reason to make you aware, but always to let you feel that you are the most precious, collaborative, beautiful being on earth. I failed. God forgive me. But this is what I mean. And
Mhm.
so I say judgment. If we look, Marshall Rosenberg, he went into jail with people, they were sentenced to death. And they were refusing for years to talk to anybody because they were tired of being judged. And then Marsha enters the room, sits down, And they say, what do you want? I mean, people who have been 30 years in jail, have been punished and have been, really treated miserably. And you know what Marshall asked him? Why did you do it? Why did you do it? Let me share. Tell me your life. Let me understand. Why did you kill this mother and this boy? And this person starts to cry. And he says, it's the first time in my life someone is asking me that. They said, when did you enter the house? When did you take the rifle? When did you shoot? They never asked me, why did I do it? Never. They never asked for my frustration. They never asked the abuse I experienced. They never asked for my life, in jail. They never asked for my loneliness, no father, no mother. They never asked for. So judging, and this is maybe my misunderstanding, maybe you have a much milder form, you have a different culture in judging and understanding, but I just can describe my understanding of judging and my experience with judging.
No, it's semantic. The way you understand, I think we are not far away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
The way I understand you, I totally agree. It depends how we communicate. In the end, are we communicating from connection or from separation? That's where I'm totally with you. For me, the judgment doesn't have the co-arising with separation. But that's
Beautiful.
semantic. That's the word. But I agree with you. My point was more that
Mm-hmm.
we want to reflect to each other our growth, the potential for growth. No, be it with children, be it with adults, be it in a sangha or community. We want to be mirrors for each other so that we can grow. And it has to come, and that's what I hear from you, it has to come from connection and not from separation. And that I'm 100% in agreement with you. Only from connection we can help each other to grow.
And it's painful if we are surrounded, by mirrors which are distorted because they don't
Yes,
give
sure.
us a picture of ourselves, but they project their own distortion towards us.
Yeah.
And once again, then it starts all over to first to be a real mirror, a pure mirror, and to take care where we have our projections. And so to say, I had this projection, that judging, I think that judging is a part of this process of discussion. You have a different point of view. I show you where I am. I will see where you are. Discussion, then debate. Father and son. I take care. I'm father. I take care for my son. So I have a debate in the family, and then dialogue. Let's explore.
Mm-hmm.
Let's understand how can that happen to you. Why is school so miserable? Why are you so stressed? Why are you so excited if you're on the bus with your friends after you have sat 6 hours, in jail? Why do you forget about your jacket because you are so happy? How beautiful is that? Be happy. Throw your jacket and your trousers and your boots away. Just be happy and stop going into school, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
we just so if we take this is judging, I was 25 years in innovation management. I have written 30 patents. I was connected to about 100 innovations. I saw so much judgment. I so much taking advantage, separation, cutting the other off, monopoly. Judge is for me a judge. It's a
Mm-hmm.
judge. And I mean, my name is Daniel. You know what Daniel means? I have no judge on this world. I don't take any judgment. I go
Mm-hmm.
to the lions and I will survive. I talk about the Menateke with Nebuchadnezzar and I will survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not being judged. So I mean, sorry, this is something
Very good.
very personal. So if you say
I mean,
judge,
my name is Daniela, as you know.
oh, perfect. So we're going to figure it out, But
Yeah,
forgive
exactly.
me, but it is for me, this is something where we take for us too much of a role of responsibility. Now we come back to the very beginning. We have first to come to be home, yeah, to be connected and to feel safe. And then to say, how could that happen to you? Oh shit, the jacket is away. I mean, it's painful. You know, you have to again go shopping, you know, try 30 kilometers or online, you get 3 jackets, they don't fit and you don't like it. So it's a painful thing, you know. So it's really beautiful. I hate to lose things I love, you know, so I can really use. So it is good to participate in that, but at the same time, it's so important to understand, why does this kid forget his jacket? You know, why do I not take care for something? You know, because I just say, that's too much. I'm
Yeah,
so involved with something much more important. And what happens in
sure.
our information technology today? We get overwhelmed by information and we have to make us free, 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 no judgment. There's just that nothing comes to me. I am my own world. I have to find my next decent action. And
Mm.
this is so hard. Yeah. And we are so full of manipulation, judgments, and of information,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know. So this is where I
true.
come from, you know. So,
Yeah.
so sorry.
Great. I also think we come to a good end here
Hmm.
with the yeah, with the kind of reminding ourselves, as you did, to settle inside ourselves first, and everything else comes second. We have to find the oneness. No, that's kind of where we are very much in alignment. We have to find the oneness, and everything else comes from there. So thank you so much, Danielle, for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you.